Welcome, everybody. Not sure if everybody can hear me. This is a different setup than what we're used to for our webinars. If you see on the right-hand side, there's a little chat box. If you can type in there, if you can hear me, just say a yes, and we can get started. All right. Can you hear me? Okay, so if you heard the pencil and paper, can you just type pencil? Okay, there's a little bit of a delay. But if you can hear me, I just said something about grabbing pen and pencil, a pencil and a piece of paper. All right, I'll give it a second. Okay, awesome. Thank you. There is, like I said, there is a delay, so I'll just take a little bit slow. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for your support and in coming and spending your afternoon with me. I want to talk a little bit about what my journey has been, what I've learned in the process, and hopefully you guys can learn a little bit about what I have to share today. So, from branding to marketing, how to attract the right clients and increase your profits. Let's get started. All right, so who am I? I am the owner of Encore Romance Travel, a romance travel agency dedicated to helping time-star couples create romantic getaways to exotic beach destinations. That is my latest website up there. My background is fashion design and entrepreneurship, and I have served in the U.S. Army Reserve for the last 19 years. Okay. All right, there is a little bit of a delay because of the bandwidth. This is my new website. Just give it a second here. I recently launched the Travel Business Stylist website that you can see on your screen. It's a branding and marketing service to help other travel agents create stylish and profitable brands. I have written for Travel Research Online, TRO, Vacation Agent Magazine, Travel Agent Revolution, Destination Weddings and Honeymoons Magazine, and other lifestyle websites and blogs. I would also be speaking at the OSSN conference in Chicago in November. So if you are going to the OSSN conference, just look me up, please. I will be having 2 sessions, one on Monday and one on Tuesday. All right, so I've made costly mistakes. Ever since I entered, not knowing much about the industry, never worked on it before, I made very, very costly mistakes in the thousands of dollars. I wasted on logos, websites, bridal shows, in marketing collateral that didn't bring me a penny, not a single booking. I went through 3 or 4 logos, a couple of different websites, bridal shows, marketing collateral that I have still in boxes that I have no choice but to throw them away. I realized that the issue that I was having was that I didn't know my target client. I knew them. I started with romance travel, and I figured every single bride and groom would be my ideal client. But it's not the case. It was not true. I had to further narrow my niche. So it wasn't just enough that I was doing romance travel. And I failed to address their pain points. I didn't know what they were looking for in a travel agent, and they didn't know even what a travel agent did. So I decided to narrow my niche to luxurious honeymoons, basically, but without using the word luxury. So I decided to do exotic destinations. And so the location itself implied that it was luxury. There was luxury and obvious budget to go along with it. Once I got to know my clients, I was able to address their pain points, and the leads just started pouring in. You know, if most of you know me, I have spent most of the year. I was pregnant and moved out of state. So really, I haven't been very active in my marketing, but the leads are still coming in. Right now, my average honeymoon booking is between $7,000 and $20,000. I stopped doing destination weddings because for me, my honeymoons are more profitable than a destination wedding, unfortunately for me. And it was a lot less painful, obviously. And but I love elopements, and I love my encore couples. In fact, that is the name of my business. That's where I came from. I was an encore bride a few years ago, and so I decided to name my business Encore Romance Travel. All right, so where did I begin to turn my business around? Like most people that I've talked to, I didn't have a marketing plan in place. I really didn't even know where to begin. I didn't know what I was doing. But I quickly wanted to, I quickly learned how to reverse engineer the process, and it was a huge eye-opening experience. Using this method that I'm going to teach you, you will understand how easy it is to market, find and sell to your ideal clients without wasting thousands of dollars like I did. So let's get started. I'm going to leave most of the questions towards the end, but I'm going to go ahead and address a couple. Yes, this is being recorded, and I will send out a link after the webinar. And 2, I didn't want to use the word luxury because a lot of times people I'm coming from the fashion industry, and a lot of people love to use the word couture. Well, couture means handmade, and not everybody that uses the word couture necessarily makes handmade things. So the word has been kind of cheapened. Well, I feel the same way about luxury. Luxury is something that you feel or how you treat your clients. Just because my name says luxury doesn't necessarily mean that I provide luxury to my clients. So there's a little bit more implied. All right, so my first question to you is, what is your specialty? For example, are you an adventure travel specialist, or are you a deep sea fishing and diving in South America specialist? In my case, I specialize in exotic romance travel, so exotic beach destinations. I really don't sell Europe. It's just the geography alone is overwhelming to me. So that's what I do. The more specific that you make it, the more profitable you will be. If you had a heart condition, would you go to your family internist, or would you go to a board-certified cardiologist? Just to give you an example, a cardiologist makes about $357 a year, $357,000 a year, versus $185 for an internal or an internist. So if you had to subspecialize, yes, it will take a little bit more training, but look, in this example, you can almost make twice or three times what a generalist makes. And I find that that is same in the travel industry. All right, so step number one, you get your pen and pencil, and paper. Step number one, you have to choose a profitable niche. Sit down and look at everything you enjoy selling and what is the most profitable. We all know, we all been there. We get the calls for a trip to Mexico and their budget is $3,500 or $3,000. And you know you have to work twice as hard to find something in their budget that is reputable, a property that you know they're going to have a good time and they're not going to come back unimpressed and blaming you for the decision, even though we all know they made that decision. Use that information to narrow down your niche. It doesn't mean that you don't sell anything else. Please, I sell cruises. I do a little bit of corporate. If it's the right client, I will do it. It doesn't mean I don't. Okay, so you don't have to stop selling everything else if you don't want to. The more complicated the travel, the more profitable it will be. I think we all agree. Putting a FIT together, or FIT together through Europe or Asia is going to be a lot more profitable than if we can get away to Mexico or to Florida. We know that. All right. Great branding sells. I am a huge believer in this, and of course I have design background, so I'm very particular about design. People go online and people go look at websites and they're looking for information, and it has to be pleasing to the eye. It has to attract them. Here's a website from can you guess who she's trying to attract? Obviously, her name is the honeymoon gal. Plain and simple, she sells honeymoons. Those beautiful pictures, she's got Negril, Bora Bora, Punta Cana, Cancun. So obviously they're tropical. So I love it. The colors, it's professionally made. And as you see further, she has carried that same branding throughout her entire marketing collateral. I only have pictures of, in the webinar, I have just a couple of pieces, but I've seen the rest of her marketing and it's outstanding. I love it. For example, here's her her Facebook cover page. If a potential client goes to your website or finds you on Facebook first and then goes to your website, they can tell, they know they're going to the right place. Here's another branding for somebody outside of the industry. She is a business consultant, a friend of mine, Shanae. And as you can see, it is attractive. Excuse the slides are a little bit stretched out because of the program, but it's a beautiful website. You can tell it's been a lot of thought went into it. There is a strategy to the website, and you can tell what she does. She transforms businesses that you have into businesses you've always wanted. She's awesome. Here's her Facebook cover page. Again, it's just like her website, so it does match. It's consistent. Her branding is consistent across all her social media channels as well. All right, step number 3. You have to know your ideal client. All right, so it is not enough to know the demographics of your ideal client. You have to know them at an emotional level. Travel, as we know, is an emotional purchase. They don't need it. It's just a want. A lot of marketers say, oh, you have to satisfy and give people what they need. Well, travel isn't something people need. They want it. And then you have to know what keeps them up at night. How can you solve their pain points? How can you be their hero and save the day? That's basically what you're here for. If you guys look on the sidebar, there should be a pop-up that just came up that says, who are your glass slippers clients? And there's a download, a yellow button. I had created a worksheet that you can go through, download, and really think about who your ideal client is. It's not short, guys. It takes a lot of thought, but it's about 10 pages where you can deep dive into who your ideal client is, and that will help you solve half of this process, I promise. All right, step number 4, address those pain points. Once you do the worksheet, you'll be able to tell what keeps them up at night. For example, in that example I gave you earlier about the father and son, or I'm sorry, the deep dive, and are you a deep dive in snorkeling or diving? A deep sea fishing and diving specialist in South America. Maybe your ideal client is a father and son or a group of friends, but father and son, let's use that for as an example here. They've always dreamed to take the trip of a lifetime. The father wants to bond with the son. They want to do something, you know, guy-related trip, just them, without mom and sisters. And because the father feels like, you know what, this boy is going to grow up, he's going to go to college, get married, and then he's going to start his own family. And so they want to maximize the time they have with him. And so the father wants to really give his son an experience, like a coming-of-age experience, and go just take this trip and go deep sea fishing in South America. But he doesn't know how to do it. He doesn't even know where to begin. So what keeps him up at night is that feeling that his time is running out. He needs to go spend time with his son. He needs to go take this trip before he gets older and his son gets older and moves on with his life. That is a pain point. And that, my friends, is what you need to address. Your website copy should address that pain point when they first go into your website. Your marketing collateral. If you're going to do a direct mail campaign, then I will totally send them a postcard and say, hey, you don't have a lot of time. They're growing up. He's going to get married. He's going to leave the house. You know, spend some time. You know, have some quality father and son time. Your social media posts can also address those issues. And then finally, what I like to do what I like to do is take those 3 pain at night. What are their issues that they have when people call you and they say, you know, I really want to put this trip together, but I don't know how. I'm confused. I'm not sure how, you know, what the budget is going to be. I'm not sure. I don't even know where to put it together. How do I get to South America? Where do I rent a boat or a captain, you know? Where can I borrow fishing equipment, you know? So that is what that's what the pain points are. So when people go to your website, there should be some questions in the first page that said, you know, have you dreamed about taking a deep sea fishing trip to South America? Do you know how to plan it? Do you know what it takes? Are you worried about the cost? Give me a call, let's talk, and I can tell you all about it, and I will make it the process painless for you. You will have the trip of a lifetime, and you will make memories with your family or your friends that you will never forget. All right, step 5. You have to develop your marketing message. Again, you use those pain points to develop your marketing message. Your website should be about that. It should not be about suppliers. It should not be about prices. It should not be a booking engine. And if you do have a website that has all of those things, you think about it. Have you been getting leads? Have you been getting calls from your website? All right. And then when you develop that marketing message, you have to say it over and over again. Just when you think you're bothering them, they are just starting to notice you. Have you ever noticed that you can email people with a special, or you can email people with this group you put in together? Say a group, a cruise. And you could be planning this for months, but they wait to the very last minute to book it. I mean, when you have sent them 10, 15 emails about it, and you send them the very last email saying, hey, this is it. I have to close the group. Are you going to go? That's when they'll finally take notice and they'll book it. So don't think you're bothering people. You are in the business of selling. So you keep offering it, you keep talking about it until they say no, and you move on to the next person. Also, when you develop your marketing message, you will become known for solving that problem. You are the expert, and you have to own your expertise. Experts get paid for what they do. Experts get paid for their time. And experts get paid for the knowledge. They don't give out information freely. They don't allow anybody to pick their brains. And more importantly, they don't work for free. All right. Step number 6. Now, this is when you create your marketing mix. Based on you reaching out to your clients and polling them and getting to know them, you can decide the best form to reach your clients. So, do they like to be emailed to? Do they like direct mail? Do they hang out on Facebook? Maybe they don't hang out on Facebook. Maybe they just like Instagram. All right? So you have to find out where they hang out, and that is where you are going to focus your attention. Then choose how to market both offline and online. Offline, I mean by direct mail, whether it's sending them postcards, sending them a brochure, sending them a note, sending them anniversary cards, happy birthday cards, thinking about you cards. All right. Local joint partnerships, if you partner with any other vendors locally in your community, and sponsorships, if you sponsor any events or teams or anything in your local community. Now, granted, this is if your ideal client lives within your community. If your ideal client does not live within your local community, then it makes no sense to market there. I have never marketed locally because my clients are from all over. I am currently in Mississippi. I have moved the business 3 times. And I have clients from Kentucky to Ohio to DC to New York City to Dallas. So it makes no sense for me to do that. Now I could try and reach out locally, but right now my efforts are online. So email newsletters, social media channels, and of course my blog. As far as social media, I would only just pick 2 channels. You don't have to be in all 5, 6, 7 of them. Just pick 2. If your ideal client does not hang out on Facebook, I will have a presence on Facebook, but I will not market there. It makes no sense. Spend your time and energy somewhere else because you already don't have enough time to do everything we are required to do. So pick and choose where they hang out. Is it on Instagram? Is it on Pinterest? All right, and then the blog, because you are blogging, right? All right, so then when you choose how to market, you're going to create a chart or a spreadsheet, whatever works for you. Post-it notes if it works for you. A notebook. I have tons of notebooks. Create a chart with the channels you will use and how frequent you will use it. So for example, Instagram, I use it maybe 3 times a week. Pinterest, I'll use it maybe 4 or 5 times a week. It depends. Postcards, maybe I'll do a mailing once a quarter because it is expensive. So just determine what you want to do on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly basis. Even yearly, if you do a show, a bridal show, or a local sports show, a women's show, you probably do it yearly or semi-annually. And then under each entry, determine how much it's going to cost. That way you can set a budget. Bottom line, your website is your storefront. I have clients that have found me on Google, they all do, or on Instagram. Then they'll go check out my website, and then they'll email me and say, oh my God, I saw your website, and it's talking right to me. Like I feel like you're talking to me. You know exactly what I'm thinking. So your website should be your storefront, and everything you do, your marketing mix, should go right back to your website. Whether it's direct mail, it should point people, it should address their pain points, but then address them back to the website or your email, however you want to be contacted. Emails should have a prominent link to your website. Social media, if you participate in social media, it should all go back straight to your website. You should have links, prominent links. I do promote other people's articles, but you want that traffic to go back down to your website. And then brochures. If you have brochures that you give out on a show or any marketing collateral you have, it should always say, hey, contact me here for more information. All right, so everything goes back to your storefront. All right, so to recap, step 1, if you missed anything, here are the steps. Choose a profitable niche. All right, I just don't do romance travel. I go further down and I do exotic destinations, beach locations. I don't do destination weddings. I do elopements and I do honeymoons and of course anniversary trips or any other trip like that. But when it comes to groups, not so much for me. So just sit there and determine what is it that you enjoy selling. Some people hate, I don't particularly care for selling Europe. So I don't do it. I have somebody else that does that for me. Step 2, brand it accordingly. So if you're going to be in the romance travel business, for example, then brand it accordingly. look at the websites your target market is looking at. They're looking at beautiful wedding planner websites. They're looking at beautiful invitation designers. They're looking at caterers. And they know all about design because they are so worried about the look and image of the wedding. Your website needs to fit in with that niche, with that industry. If you're doing an adventure, your niche and your brand needs to fit with whether it's the equipment, you know, the websites for cycling, bicycles, if that's what they're into, or fishing, you know, the boat manufacturers and the brand and the mix and models and, you know, that kind of thing. The clothing, the equipment they used to fish with. Look at all those websites. And yours has to fit somewhere within that niche. If you do girlfriend getaways, or well, you know, they are probably you're gonna look at some shopping websites. You're gonna look at spas. You're gonna look at their branding. You're gonna look at maybe destinations, maybe some of the activities they like to do. So you can either niche and brand it according to a lifestyle, a destination, whatever works for you, whatever you're the expert in, but it has to fit in. We all know that we have seen websites that you go into the website and they say they specialize in honeymoons, family travel, Disney, Europe, and cruises. Well, that's a lot of specialties, and you can't be a specialist in all of it. That just sounds like a generalist. So just pick one that is the most profitable to you and you enjoy and brand it accordingly. Also, I don't know if I went over this, but the brand is a lot more than a logo. It's how they feel, you know. Do you know what you're talking about? Does it look like you know what you're talking about? Are you knowledgeable? All right, so step number 3, you have to know your ideal client. If you don't know who your ideal client is to the emotional level, then all of this is for naught because you won't know exactly what they need. All right, so you have to know not just the demographics, but you have to know emotionally what keeps them up at night about these trips. You know, my honeymooners, they're already stressed with the wedding and dealing with in-laws and parents and weddings that are turning into their parents' wedding as opposed to their wedding. So their honeymoon is the only thing that they can say, we're going to do what we want to do. So that keeps them up at night. The back and forth between the families, back and forth between, I'm so stressed, I just want to elope. That keeps them up at night. So I aspire to plan their honeymoon as painless as I can, whatever works for them. If they cannot talk to me during the day, you know, fine. We'll set up an appointment and talk after work. All right. If text messages or emailing works for you, then fine. That's how we're going to handle the booking. We're going to make it as painless as possible. And then I'm going to give you the best experience. I'm going to tell you all the things, and I'm going to tell them, I'm going to suggest what it is that they want to do in their honeymoon. A lot of times they don't have a clue. A lot of times they have a couple going to Iceland, and they are asking me, well, should we have the little car or should we have the big car, or the 4x4? So I promptly went and did some research. And I was like, you know what? It's up to you, but keep in mind, the price of gas in Iceland per gallon is $8. So if, based on the currency exchange at the time, so if you want to pay $8 a gallon, then go for the 4x4. And he emailed me back and he's like, wow, you know, I didn't even think about that. I really appreciate it. So you kind of have to stay a step ahead of them and address their issue before it becomes an issue. Obviously, you have to address the pain points. I think I harped on that. Make sure that you're addressing the pain points, so you're addressing what keeps them up at night. Now, step number 5, you develop your marketing message according to the previous steps. So you know what your niche is. You know what your brand stands for. You know the service you're going to give them. You know your ideal client, and you know their pain points. So when you develop your marketing message, you're going to know exactly what you need to address. You will never have to sit there and look at the computer and think, what am I going to put on Facebook today? What am I going to post about? What am I going to blog about? So that is what your marketing message is going to be. Once you have all those columns and you have all these different topics, for example, you know, the pain points, not knowing where to go with the budget that they have, you can write down a column, give them ideas. What I did one time that was awesome was I created a series of blog posts in 3 budget points. So I had like an entry-level budget, like let's say $5,000 honeymoon, and I made a blog post around what locations can you go to within that budget, not including air, and say flying from the East Coast, just to keep it general. I wasn't advertising based on price. I was just giving them ideas. And then I also did another one with a medium budget. And then I did the luxury budget, which was like $10,000 plus. Each blog post, I pinned it on Pinterest, because remember that traffic from Pinterest goes back to your blog. That blog about the luxury honeymoon has been repinned more than 400 times for me. So I have had over 400 people that have a direct link to my blog based on that blog post. That's how you do it. And then you create your marketing mix. The last step, you create your marketing mix. So based on all that information, we know that we can't market everywhere. It's like throwing, you know, a BB gun, or you know, shooting a shotgun into a very narrow center mass. You know, you're going to spread the entire target instead of just hitting center mass. So the marketing mix is going to narrow your focus, your time, and your money. That way you don't waste your time and your money doing things that are not going to pay. We all know marketing is expensive, and we don't have unlimited budgets. We don't have a Coca-Cola budget, marketing budget. So you have to narrow down where you're going to market so that you can get the best ROI, the return on your investment. All right. At this point, I'm going to take a couple of questions. Are there any questions on this recap? Go ahead and type them in. All right. I see questions about Agent Studio. I am not very familiar with Agent Studio. I'm not familiar with the back end of that website. But based on what I can see on the front end, it seems like it is all content has been supplied by suppliers or by the company. So if you have an option to customize your front page of your website, I will look into it, because you want to come across as personable. You want them to get to know you, and you need to address the pain points. So if that website does not allow you to do that, frankly, I don't think you're getting the best ROI, a return for your investment. Does anybody have any other questions? Just go ahead and type them in the chat box. I'm going to wait a little bit because I know there is a delay. All right. So now we've been through the entire process. All right, let me go to this, back to this website, to my website. All right, so this is my website. This is about my third website that I created once once I implemented the system that I was sharing with you guys. I poll my clients. I have a quiz. I created that quiz. Literally, I sat down and I came up with 4 different answers and then descriptions under each one of them. And then I found a plugin. So if you have questions, you can always work with your designer and they can help you implement it, or your tech person. So here's my website. It talks about them. The questions, address them. My website, if you want to go ahead and check it out, is Encore D Delta WH. EncoreDWH.com. And it stands, as you can see from my original branding, Encore Destination Weddings and Honeymoons. DWH. This system took me about, Cindy's asking me how long it took me to figure it out. It took me about 3 years and about $20,000. So in just websites that I changed, logos that I changed, and just trial and error. And then I worked with a branding specialist that taught me how to do this. And so that's how we developed this. If you're working with more than one specialist, if you are doing 2 different niches, I will probably just have an umbrella website and then just have people choose which site they want to go in. Have you ever gone to like a photographer's website where a page comes up and they ask you, do you want to go to the gallery or the blog? So maybe you can have a landing page, a welcome page that has a logo and it has 2 different areas. They can go into one or the other and then go from there. Or you can have 2 websites, or you can choose to promote one but continue to do the other. Corey is, he's my rock star. Corey Andrechuk was the business coach that I had when I first came in this business. And he helped me along and he helped me establish my business. And I owe my business to Corey Andrechuk. I believe in coaching. So, and because he is a coach, he is able to work with you based on what you need. At the time, I needed to get to know the industry and how to enter, and he helped me with that. You might be at a different point in your business that he may help you do something else. So it's just a matter of talking to him and see where he can help you. I strongly recommend him. This, guys, is my new website. It's my travel stylist website where I have, you can download my Who is Your Ideal Client or Your Glass Slipper Client worksheet, and where I am helping travel agents like you go through this process. Because you can do this on your own, but if you want, and it's easier and much more effective and fun, we can do this together. Or you can get someone to help you. And that's what I'll do. Let me go back to this one slide. All right. So if you need the help, I have 2 options that I'm launching right now. I have a 1-day business makeover. Basically, we go through the entire process in 1 day. We set a date. You do the research. You're going to poll your clients. You're going to tell me about your branding, what you like, where your business is at. You tell me about your niches. We get on the phone. We hash it out. We get clarity. And we come up with a plan. In 2 to 3 business days, I will get back to you with a written plan of your brand. It will have a brand new brand message. You will have a focused niche. You will have an outline for your website copy, and you will have a marketing plan. All right? We can do it all in 1 day. You can work it out, and next year, your website, you find a designer and your website, or you tweak your website and your marketing collateral, and you will be ready for next year on wave season. I also have a VIP package that includes the business makeover plus the design process. A brand new custom-made logo just for you. It's not a clip art. My designer, that is my partner, just like both of my logos have been handmade. She will hand sketch your logo. She will create a brand new business card design and a custom WordPress website. Now, because obviously this takes time, we have limited slots. So we can only take what we can work with until the end of the year, so that we guarantee that you can launch a brand new brand and website next year, January, so that you're ready to go. You can market next year. So if you guys are interested, just go ahead and email me at Brenda@TravelBizStylist, or you can find me on Facebook. Just send me a message. Say, hey, I want to know a little bit more about your services, about your branding. I want to see what you guys have done as far as websites, and I can show you links, and I can send you links of what we've done. I'm also going to follow up with an email with a replay, and I'm also going to send you more information about the packages and the cost. If you guys have questions, just message me. We can chat on the phone. We'll get on the phone for 15 minutes. We'll knock it out, and based on what your issues are, what you need help with, I can help you choose which one you need. All right. You need to start a new year with a brand new business, because right now you cannot afford to continue doing business the way you are. If you are struggling, if you're working 20 hours out of the day trying to make profits, trying to get those clients, how much is it costing you? It's costing you time with your family. It's costing you time away from doing the things that you really want to do, trying to build a business. Don't make the mistakes that I made, and let's go ahead and get started on the right foot. So guys, any questions, just go ahead and type them on the chat. Do not forget to download that free ideal client worksheet, and do it, please. "15 minutes, 12 minutes, I don't want to keep going. So go ahead and type in any questions you have about my process or anything we discuss. I'll go ahead and wait. And you could just go ahead and type, and I'll go ahead and address them. All right, as far as pricing for websites, honestly, it is your storefront. I would invest as much as I can afford into a great website, because in the end, all of your business is going to revolve around that website. The website should qualify your clients, and should disqualify your clients as well. Let me go back to this slide. Your website should have information about how you can help them, your specialty, about you, your ideal client, and also the people that you don't want to work with. Yes, your website should disqualify the people or potential leads that are not a good match. If they're looking at a Mexico trip for $2,500 and you specialize in something else, guess what? They will know, hey, you know what? I don't even need to bother, because that's not what she specializes in. And honestly, do you really want that business? The people that do contact you will know you, they will have expectations, and would also, okay, they will also know that you are the right person for them. So by the time my leads get to me, they already know that I have a budget, they already know who I work with, and that's why I'm getting leads that are $10,000, $12,000, $15,000, and the latest $20,000 for a 10-day honeymoon. / elopement / honeymoon. All right, that's why I don't do destination weddings, because That's the kind of clients that I have and that I want. All right. So as far as my branding goes across everything. When I deliver my documents, I hate to sometimes give them supplier documents, but I do sometimes, depending on what it is. But it still has a folder with my information, my logo. It has my business cards. It has postcards with my logo. It has extra business cards. In my gifts to them, I have business or luggage tags that have my logo. Previously, I did sand a little sand bars for you to save your sand with a stamp, a metal stamp with our information or logo, and their information, where they honeymoon and the date or the month and year of their honeymoon. I carry that throughout. I carry my branding when I travel and I do FAMs. So when I go on a FAM, my logo is on my polo shirt. Once I stop visiting and doing the inspection and I'm just relaxing at the resort, I take it off, obviously. But when I'm dealing with a supplier or with a BDM or with a sales manager, I am branded. Let's see. Do I do easing templates? I do them, but my time, obviously with the new baby, has been very limited. So I haven't been doing easing templates. But if you guys have time, I can let you guys know when I'll be able to do them. Just email me, message me, and I'll be able to tell you when I can help you. I prefer to do the entire branding because what I found is a lot of times we're working with brand image that is not, it doesn't reflect your business. We have work with, right now we have makeover 4 different businesses. Obviously my site was my design, both of my websites, and I have 2 others. I found is that I can make somebody a beautiful website, but if we don't do the branding part, that website is going to sit there unused. And that was a lesson that I learned, and what made me decide to share this process. Because it doesn't matter how beautiful the website is, if your logo does not represent you and you don't have the content to market correctly, you have nothing but a pretty website with it. It's just a shell. Again, against Facebook pages, I have not been doing it because of time constraints. All right, Bonnie shares, Spoon Drawer can also help you design the perfect website. Packages start from $49, or you can totally do a customized package. All right, now a couple of things to learn about websites, guys. When you start looking at people to do your website, I recommend WordPress. Why? It has all the plugins necessary to allow you to be ranked on Google. Right now, I recently changed my SEO, my keywords. When I stopped doing destination weddings, I changed it to elopements. And just in the last 2 months, I've gotten at least 10 elopement leads or inquiries because they found me through my website. And I'm seeing more questions, so I'm getting right to you. So the website, WordPress, make sure that you own the files to your website. If something happens to your website and you're paying somebody else to maintain that website, and your Spoon Drawer, that's the one I'm talking about, the one I just mentioned. But you have to ask them, is this my website or are you maintaining it for me? I have heard of agents who, for one reason or another, the person that maintains their website will just all of a sudden take it down, and they have no recourse because they don't have their files. It is truly not their website, just somebody else hosts it for them. So make sure you ask those questions before you get into a contract in developing a new website. Who owns those files? Will you receive those files? I recommend that you buy your own hosting because you control your hosting. They can make recommendations, but you control it. So your website is yours. All right, so Michelle asks, do I think it's better not to publicize your host when you do a consumer show? Absolutely. You are not building your host business, you are building your business. I am Encore Romance Travel, I am not my host. I do have a host. I also have a true number that I book with separately for certain things. But I choose to have a host that works for me, and you cannot see the name anywhere. Not even my invoices, not even my proposals. All right. If you all belong to the marketing group on Facebook, go to the file section. There is a file in there with vendors that can do promotional items, where you can order folders, you can order luggage tags with your logo, you can order passport covers. For me, for example, because of how high-end my honeymoons are, I send them a Coach leather passport cover. It doesn't have my branding, but I insert my business cards inside of the passport covers. Every time they see the passport cover, they're going to remember, wow, that was a very nice gift from my travel agent. In my personal opinion, so Michelle asks, is WordPress better than Wix in regards to the whole SEO thing? I just read recently that Wix made huge improvements on their SEO, which is awesome. I've only used WordPress, and I am extremely happy with how I can manipulate my SEO. I know exactly how each one of my pages are as far as SEO, how optimized they are. Whether they are red, which is bad, yellow, which is okay, or green means they're great. Okay, what hosting companies do I like? I recently found a very small hosting company called A Small Orange. A Small Orange. I had to have my designer, she installed it for me because I was getting frustrated with it. It's a small independent company that I really like, and I'm all about supporting small businesses, and so far so good. Let's see, how does the blogging work? I'm sorry, I just mentioned hosting for your website, not travel agency hosting. I can tell you offline, if you guys message me, I can share with you who my host is, which I'm very happy with. Blogging. All right, so what I recommend is just have an editorial calendar. You don't have to blog every day. Just blog. Decide how often you can do it. Once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week. And create an article, a short article, maybe 400 words, 200 to 400, and talk about one of those pain points, or whether you came back for one of those locations that your ideal client might be interested in. And you just create an article, always use pictures, and you'll be able to be found based on those blogs. Now, Pinterest is very interesting because you can pin the picture of that blog into Pinterest, and that drives traffic to your blog and your website. Okay. So you can also use your blogs in your email newsletters, and you can just repurpose that content, use it for your email newsletter, post it on your blog, post it on Facebook, so you can spread the wealth around to try and drive traffic to your website. Coach passport covers, the best secret in the world. I get emails from Coach Outlet, and they're by invitation only. If you guys need an invite, message me, and next time a sale comes up, I can send you an invite. And basically, when they send me the email that they have a sale going on, I go and I take advantage of their sales. They only allow you to buy 4 or 5 items at a time, so I buy them 2 in 2 sets. and I keep them for, for my big clients. But I probably paid $30 for a Coach passport cover a piece. That's nothing when you have somebody spending $15,000 on a honeymoon. All right. Any more questions, guys? We are almost out of time. All right, guys. So if you're interested in my services, just go ahead and message me. If you guys have any questions about this process, let me know. I will follow up with an email to let everybody know that the replay is available and where to get it from. You guys have been great. Thank you so much. And I see you in the marketing Facebook group. Have a great day.